First of all, if there's one thing you would take away from Boris Johnson's premiership as a success, as the overwhelming thing that he did, he got right, what would it be?
Well, there are so many, aren't there? And you listed many of them, actually, in your excellent presentation just now. I'll give you one that you didn't mention. You mentioned Brexit, but, all the gloomsters, to use a Boris expression, were saying there's no way we can get a free trade agreement with the European Union. It's never been done before. And it hadn't been done before, but Boris did it. We got that free trade agreement. We got Brexit done, the first vaccine developed in the UK, first public vaccine programme in the UK. I'm looking down at my very long list and editing many of them. With the war on Ukraine, we were the first country to actually supply arms to Ukraine in advance of the Soviet, or should I say Russian, invasion. So it prevented that very, very powerful thrust from the north trying to take Kiev, and the Russians failed. Why? Because they were using British NLAW ground-to-tank missiles. And there's so much that he's achieved. And I think, that many people will say that Boris's great attribute was not being the jokester, as you rather unkindly said, but actually being the visionary.
Indeed, but he is on his way out, and that's because lots of your colleagues decided his time was up. Must be said somewhat prematurely, given the fact, Michael, that probably this time last year people were talking about a Boris Johnson decade. Why is that, though? Why? I think even by the end, even you were alluding to the fact that, that things weren't working out and that he needed to go. Why did he have to go in the end? Why did the party decide that they'd had enough?
Well, I think certain members of the party actually started to panic. I think a number of them thought that they weren't going to win the next election. I think actually some of those people will be suffering from buyer's remorse. They will regret the decision to bring down Boris Johnson. I don't think I was actually at any time saying that Boris should go. What perhaps I was saying, sotto voce, was that maybe, just maybe, he should have some better people around him at number 10 Downing Street, because, at the end of the day, the Prime Minister is someone who is the chairman of a company and the managing director of the civil service, if you like, the secretaries of state, and maybe he didn't have all the best people around him that he should.
And just very finally, Michael, what do you think he'll do next? I mean, there's much speculation. Will he stay as an MP? Will he face this Commons Privileges Committee that's going to look into Partygate? Will he potentially quit and go and make an awful lot of money on the speaking circuit, particularly in the US and elsewhere?
Well, I texted Boris and said to him, if Theresa May could make, I think it's $1.5 million or maybe £2 million on the speaking circuit, my gosh, he'll make zillions on the speaking circuit. And if I were he, I would actually, take a little bit of a step back and maybe reassess in a year from now, as I think we all will be, about his premiership. I personally think he'll say, yes, I made a few mistakes. But what he'll also say is, and I think others will too, you know what, if it hadn't been for his optimism, his professionalism in many respects, and his imagination and his drive, we would never have achieved all the things that we have achieved and which you so excellently mentioned in your report.